Sinner, Sacrifice for Redemption. This game is Xbox One X enhanced, and it actually looks really good and plays very fluidly. And we're going to jump in here and kind of show this off. So to start, I really passionately hate these types of games. I'm not a fan of them. That being said, this is a really good representation of the type of game that we're discussing. And so yeah, this is, for context, a Dark Souls type game. It's just a series of boss battles, but the goal of it is to basically kill you a bunch of times. Death is everywhere, and the game becomes harder the more you play it, as it is a level down type of experience. So as you're fighting these bosses, you are sacrificing for your sins, and then you're getting an atonement by battling that said boss. When you first go to fight a boss, you'll get a cutscene that will pop up, and it'll kind of give a little bit of detail about your character's connection to this sin, and it just gives you an idea of what to expect. So as you can see, it's a third-person experience. We've got our little character there. We're able to fight with a couple different options. We've got a regular sword. We've got a bigger sword, a little bit harder to use. We can roll. We can sprint. We can block/parry. We've got a couple of different abilities that we can swap between there. Now you're going to get an idea of it, because I haven't fought this particular guy yet. I saved one or two of them, before doing this, just so I could show off how these cutscenes are kind of set up. They're really cool, kind of still art designs with a little bit of text, and you're getting an idea of, the connection of your character to this boss that you're fighting. So that's what this is. It's just a series of boss fights with some hidden surprises in there. Some of them feature some little minor characters, but yeah, you're kind of just fighting these large, terrifying, horrific monsters. And they've all got some different thing to them, different abilities, different strategies. And this is much more of a slow-paced kind of experience, because you're, more using timing and learning and then reacting based on what they're doing. Now keep in mind, a boss might seem easy at the start. They're constantly adapting their skills, and they are relentless in the sense that once they get you on the ground, they will not stop hitting you. So you've got to be lucky, kind of get out of the way and react fast. See, that was an insta-kill there. So it's not a kind game, and it basically just wants you to die over and over and over again. And I know a lot of people really love this type of game, and I feel that it's actually perfect for that type of player. Again, at the start, kind of going personally over it, I'm not a fan of this type of game, but I know a lot of people really enjoy this sort of experience, and I think it does really give you that ultimate kind of Souls challenge. Dark Souls is the kind of main one that this sort of brand of hardcore game is based from, and we've seen so many titles kind of be spin-offs or plays on that. Not direct spin-offs, but you know what I mean, like a game that's sort of inspired by that style of challenge and hardcore gameplay. And yeah, this one sort of really does emulate that well, at least I think so. It's very smooth, it's really kind of grotesque, and there's a lot of different creatures. So this is one we've already fought. And he's kind of got slug things going on. And you're seeing how I'm using my abilities here. Ah, crap, the eyeballs. And Yeah, usually a little bit better. We'll give another effort on this one, because I have fought this guy a couple of times, so I should be doing a lot better against him. But you get the sense of this is that you're gonna have to, fight these creatures a few times, quite a few times, depending on your skill level, in order to get a grasp of what they do and what sort of abilities you're going against. The achievements for these are actually pretty funny. A lot of them are based upon basically dying in different ways to these creatures and seeing their different effects. Like this guy's got like a bit of a poison thing to him and a slow kind of scythe, I want to say, and then he kind of flurries away, goes somewhere else, and there's like a second act where he kind of gets on top of a building, and he's a little bit more difficult to deal with. And it's not just like a game where you can sort of come out here and melee them. You've got to watch your stamina, you've got to watch your health, and then you've got to also remember, while a boss might be easier for you to take on than other bosses, when you lose your sacrifice, you're basically making yourself weaker when you have to fight a different boss. Which is a whole extra element of gameplay. Ah, crap. Ugh. Not good. Not a good situation. Jeez. And you're seeing we're using the big sword right now, just to give you an idea of what's going on and what sort of options are present. And you've got to manage your, your extra abilities. Like you've got the spears here. Oh, crap. Ugh. And you've got your health potions. And he's shooting out these ball things. Ah. And then you could just die like that, and then you're finished. I'm just trying to show off a couple different bosses, though, so if you are wondering why I'm switching between them and kind of calling back my sacrifice. So, generally, narrative-wise, there's not a whole lot of a story here. They give you a context of who the character is, but this really is a game focused on boss battles. It's like what Cuphead was originally entirely focused on before they added more like side levels and stuff, but it's a boss battler with large, creepy little creatures. Again, with some secrets that I'm not supposed to mention, kind of thrown in there. The supply is lost. Oh no. Atone. A man without memories struggles to understand and deal with his past. Adam must face the incarnation of his greatest sins as he unlocks his memories and sacrifices to atone. Yeah. So, I was having problems with that. Whatever. We're jumping in here. When I first played this game, it was at PAX West 17. Oh, Jesus. And apparently, I was one of the best at fighting this lady, I guess, as far as like making it the furthest. She's kicking my ass right now. Yeah, but from that moment, playing that and seeing it at launch, it's changed quite a bit. It's looking, way more impressive visually. But it still carries that kind of tune style of, I say that as tuned as in tuning style of beautiful gritty gameplay as you fight these large-scale monster bosses that are constantly coming up with new ways to mess around with you. And you get the electric blast. And it really is about finding a style that works for you and using a long-term strategy as you take on these creatures, these bosses, these monsters, and seeing what works for you as you're fighting for your life. I think she's using an electric blast, which is not good. I'm a little bit more aggressive than I should be, but I just know that I'm generally going to die, so try to get those hits in as fast as I can. And again, every boss requires a different strategy. Every boss, is a different threat. How? And you never know quite what you're going to get when you jump in initially. And as you're playing, you know, the strategy of the game and the boss you're fighting can change entirely, just at a moment's notice. And you'll die to mystic death. It really is a lovely sort of thing as you're mastering certain weapons, understanding the bosses you're fighting, and working towards multiple endings. And then there's new game modes and replayable features as well if you're able to actually successfully, you know, take on these battles, these monsters. Clouds are nice too. They're kind of nice too. I think we can show off one more. The Glut it is. Generally, I think this is a pretty well developed game for the type of game it is. I personally don't like these kind of things where they just try to kill you and it's all slow paced and, you know, a game of slow combat strategy. That's not something that I personally love. That being said, I know there's quite a market these days for people that want, you know, a hardcore, almost spooky experience like this. Nope. Ah, crap. Every time. But yeah, you can just see how, like, absolutely merciless this game is. As you're fighting this, like, huge creature, and the environments are responsive. Sometimes they've got, like, little minions that come at you. Jeez. And it's just, like, creepy. And I love it. In that regard, as I keep getting munched on. Yeah. You just died just like that. It's crazy. Yeah, so it's definitely inspired by the Soul series, and it does carry that style, I think, really well, with fairly intuitive controls. You know, I gotta give it to this one. I do wish the... Oh crap, I wasted that. I thought I had my spears up. I do wish the spears were a little bit easier to throw. They kind of, like, don't really seem to ever go where you need them to, and they don't really do much damage, so they're kind of useless. There's also, like, these fire things. You can make a little bit of fire on the ground. And then we've got the fire sword, which is a big deal. As you're rolling and getting stabbed here. And there's a couple camera angles too, or camera option angles if you'd like. These are the controls right here, but you can switch them. Graphics, no, that's not it. Controls, camera setting. So you can have like a free camera or a locked camera if you'd like to, depending on your gameplay style. You get that kind of preference. But yeah, that's Sinner Sacrifice Redemption. I hope that kind of showed off what kind of game this is, and a few of the different bosses that you can kind of face along the way. Give you an idea of the dynamic environments. You know, getting stuck in this pit of water where you just kind of die, or getting acid spit on you, or getting cut up, or, you know, chopped up or killed in a number of ways, which all unlock a variety of fun and exciting achievements. But really, it comes down to playing well, adapting on the fly to what's happening. And drowning again. Oh, wow.